Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'll be doing an updated brow and eyeshadow tutorial on this look, so stay tuned. So I started with using my edge control and I brushed out my brow hairs. Then I actually went in with my edge control to flatten the surface of my brows. So that's basically what I'm doing here, so that the brows will be as flat as possible. I'm doing this so that her natural hairs will stick and there will be no hair fly outs. So I now went in with a powder to mattify the brows, since I've already gone in with the edge control. So the essence of this is to make the brows dry so that it will also last longer. So I now went in with my Carrot brow gel. That's the ingredient I'm using in achieving this. So I started from my lower brow line, and from my arc area I extended it downwards. Then I went over to the top, and when I got to my arc area I also extended it downwards. So this is basically what I'm also doing here. I started from my lower brow line. I did not start from the front, I started from the arc area, close to the arc, and once you get to the arc you extend it downwards and you join the lines. So that's just how easy it is in drawing brows with a brow gel as opposed to a pencil. So what I'm basically doing here is straightening the lines of my brows. I want my brows to be as straight as possible. So you bring out time in doing this so that your lines will be as straight as it should be. So the next step is to fill in the brows. So I use the same brow gel and my flat brush, and I started from my filling from the back, because that's the place you should start. So when you now get to the front, you brush upwards. You use the remaining ones to brush it upwards, and that is what I did. So I think I'll now have to go over to the other side, but then I have to brush out or go in upward stroke fashion for the front areas of the brows. So we will have to repeat the same step for the other side of the brows. So that's what I'm doing, filling the inner corners of the brows, filling it in with the brow gel, and when I get to the front I do upward strokes. I just fill in upward motion, and when you're doing this you have to be as light-handed as possible. So that is it. So I have to fill in the empty spaces. What's about doing your brows is you really want it to be straight. So after that you brush out the hairs, and the reason why you are brushing out the front parts of the brows is so that it will blend and it will be as natural as possible. So that's basically what I am doing here. So the next step is going in with your concealer. So this is a Nuban Beauty concealer and my flat brush. So I now have to conceal my brows. And concealing your brows, you start from the arc area, just the same way you started when drawing the actual brow line. So I started from my arc area and I extended my concealer downwards, exactly the same way I started drawing my brows. If you do this, your brows will be as seamless as possible. Don't start from the front to conceal, you will miss it, you will miss the line. It's better you start from your arc area, and your arc area is the area with the curve. When you start from there, you extend your concealer downwards, you blend it downwards, you blend it very well so that there will be no harsh lines or any harsh concealer lines. So that's also what I'm doing. So this is my blending brush. I go in with my blending brush, and your blending brush should be as fluffy as possible. So you go in with your blending brush and blend out. You don't use a hard hand for it. You pat in the concealers into the skin. So what I did for the other side is exactly what I want to do for the other side of the brow. So I started from my arc area to conceal, and once I get to the arc, I extend my concealer downwards and blend it out. You must actually do this, and when you blend out, make sure there is no harsh lines. Harsh lines are lines that shows due to improper blending. So I now go in with my flat brush again to blend out the lines so that it will be as seamless as possible. So I'm basically blending and patting my concealer into the skin so that there will be no harsh concealer lines, and you have to take your time while doing this so that you do not make any mistake. So that is all for the brows. Thanks for watching for the brows. So the next thing is we want to achieve our eyeshadow look. So the product I just showed you guys is the Viange eyeshadow base. And one thing about doing your eyeshadow is you have to go in with a base. The base helps your eyeshadow last longer, but in the absence of a base, you can use a concealer as your eyeshadow base. So that's basically what I'm doing, patting the base on the eyelid, after which I go in with another brush to blend out. So I'm just patting the base in. So this is my blending brush, and it should be a fluffy brush. So you start from the outer corner to blend. You don't start from the inner corner of where you apply the eyeshadow base. You actually start from the outer corner. So you blending from the outer corner means you want the eyeshadow base to actually blend with the concealer you use in concealing your brows. So that's all. So the next step is going in with a transition color. I usually use brown as my transition color. So transition color is the color you use for the outer side of your eyelid when you're doing your eyeshadow. So what I do is I start from the inner corners of my eye, that is beside the two nose, and as you can see there is a contour line. So I start from the inner corner of my contour and blend my eyeshadow out. So that's basically what I'm doing here. So the blending process is still going on, and another thing is you need to use a very fluffy brush. So I think I changed my brush to a much more fluffier brush. So you blend in circular motion, and the reason why you should blend your eyeshadow in circular motion is so that it blends well. So for the outer side of your eyelid, you use a darker shade. That's how I do it. That's how I love doing it. But if you don't like to use a darker shade, you can use the normal shade that you've been using. So we repeat the same. We start from the inner corner of our eye and we join it with our contour line, our nose contour line, and from the inner corner of the eye we extend it outwards. So that's what I'm basically doing here. So when I get to the side, I go in with a darker shade. If you don't want to use brown as your transition color, you can actually use another color. You can use orange, purple, pink, anyhow that you want to use it. That's why you should experiment with colors sometimes. So what I'm still doing here is trying to blend out my transition color so that it can be as seamless as possible, and I also want to join it with my contour lines. So this is the newest and most updated eyeshadow format, and when you do this you will never miss. So the next thing is to go in with a shimmering color. Shimmering color are colors that have glows on them, like it is shiny. It gives out that glow. So I actually showed you guys the colors I'll be going in with. So I went in with a lot of colors. And another thing about applying a shimmery color is you use a flat brush, as opposed the fluffy brush that you use in doing your transition colors. So I'm using a flat brush and I'm starting from the inner corners of the eye and I'm blending upward. So I used more than 3 shades to actually achieve this and blend. So for the inner color, inner eye color, I used gold shimmery shade for it. So I later applied the pink shimmery shade on the middle. So I feel like I'm almost done with the other side. So I'm going in like onto the other side of the eye. So I am basically repeating what I did for the first eye. For the inner corner of my eye, I used the shimmery gold. Then for the middle, I went in with the pink shimmery shade. So please watch and observe what I'm doing. So now what I'm doing right now is trying to blend out the colors so that it will be the same and it will match. So remember, a flat brush for your shimmery color and a fluffy brush for your transition colors. Then you blend. Make sure your eyeshadow is as seamless as possible. So now I went in with a Jadris pigment, and one thing about the pigment is it gives a shiny glow. So I'm going for that popped out eyes. So I used the Jadris and I patted it in onto my eyeshadow in the shimmery areas. I not go in with the pigments on all parts of my eyelid or on the eyeshadow. So I also went in with a glitters because I really wanted the eyes to pop. So if you want to apply glitters, this is the hack. And if you want it to hold very well, you use a glitters glue. But here I don't think I used a glitters glue, but it actually sticked. So this is the final look. And oh, look at this, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.